Though the NNPCL and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, it was observed that petrol price was raised from 537 per litre to 617 at some filling stations operated by the NNPCL in Abuja on Tuesday. Independent oil marketers confirmed the increase in the cost of the commodity, as they stated that any shift in the price by NNPCL stations was an indication of a rise in the pump price of PMS. This is because NNPCL is still the major importer of petrol into Nigeria currently, though other marketers are gradually importing the commodity. The price, that is as at yesterday morning, at some of the NNPC stations was 617 naira per litre. I personally went to Wuse and I saw that is the pump price at a lot of filling stations yesterday. And moving down to Jabi area, all of those Nipco and the rest, they are selling at 617 AA Renault and as well. So Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria Abuja Suleja Secretary Mohammed Shoaibu told one of Punch correspondent that Tinubu had, during his inaugural address on May 29, announced that subsidy on petrol has ended. So that is exactly what we are passing through. But you could see the sharp increase from 195 that we were accustomed to 537 to 540, though 490 in some parts of the country. Depends on the location. That is talking about distance from the depot where they lift the oil, the petrol to the destination. It's just like always, I'm not alone on this program. Giseri Agua is also well seated in the studio. I'm sure you're guessing why you're not hearing from her. She's actually choked and she's finding this hard to breathe because of the situation. Good morning, Giseri.
Good morning.
Welcome on the show.
Oh my God, it's been a very eventful past few hours. Moving from yesterday into today, it's just been very interesting. Because of this fuel issue, I had to ask some questions, and we're seeing queues. Even with the 617, we're still seeing queues, and we're beginning to wonder. When we were talking about removal of subsidy, this was when the PIA was just introduced. When the president had just signed it into law, some people were talking about, okay, we're looking at pump prices reaching as much as 1,000 naira, especially in the southern region of Nigeria, where you see that even Abuja, we're buying fuel at maybe 600. Lagos, they are buying at 500. In the southern parts of Nigeria, they'll be selling at maybe 1,000. That's as much as it can go in that area. So some people were talking about the fuel price is teasing about 1,000 naira to a litre, and a lot of people were saying that it's really, really expensive. But will it be available? As is expensive, will it be available, readily available? Do you have to still spend hours on queue? I was watching a video yesterday of a man, and he was complaining about the fact that he had stayed on the queue for over an hour. These guys were not selling fuel, and they had just gotten the call that the fuel was going to be sold at 620. Where he was at, what filling station he was at. Yeah. And he was like, this fuel is old stock. Why are you selling it at the new stock prices, at the new price? Why exactly are you selling it? Just sell this one, and the new one that you are putting back into the reserve, that one should now be sold at the new prices. And one just begins to wonder, where that rationale begins to come in.
Actually, there is no sincerity in terms of the dealings, because the sole importer of oil of fuel in Nigeria has been NNPC, although they have given licenses to other major marketers to be importing fuel into Nigeria. But we saw what happened after the May 29 declaration by Mr. President. Less than 48 hours later, NNPC increased their pump price, when in real sense, those stock were stock that they already have in their farm, in the farm tank. Why would you increase it? And Mele Kolokari came out on a national TV to tell us that this is the practice in market, that people just tend to use the new price in market. It depends. It doesn't matter whether they have old stock or not. That is not how it's supposed to be in business, especially in this kind of situation where this is not a kind of private business. This is business that has to do with government to people, because
exactly.
you are rendering services to people. You are selling this product. This is government business. You are selling the product to the masses. It is the responsibility of the government to make available basic necessity, to make life easy for the masses. So it is very unfortunate that we found ourselves in this kind of situation at this time in this country. That is why the NLC now are saying, in fact, they are threatening to take the matters into their own hands following the decision by the NNPC to hike the pump price, because the federal government plan to distribute 8,000 naira monthly to 12 million households. How does that affect the totality of Nigerians? This also come down to justify or to even take away that notion that a lot of elite in Nigeria, especially the CEO of NNPC, Melekolo Kyari, where they will come and be telling Nigerians that this subsidy is actually being enjoyed or benefited by the rich. It is not true. We have seen the reality now. It is not true. If at all it is being enjoyed by them,
yesterday, Rufai was talking about the fact that a bulletproof vehicle that usually goes for as much as 100 million naira, those people cannot even afford to fill their tanks up. Imagine someone who can buy a vehicle.
In Abuja now, I have seen it countless times that you see a very nice and fancy vehicle, fuel finish for road. That, yes, it has become this. But this morning on my way coming to work, I picked someone. I saw the man along that after Beggar. I was coming from Lifecam. After Beggar, I picked the man. We came down. He said Wuse. I saw him with a keg, 1 4-liter keg he was holding. When we got to Wuse, he was like trying to locate where his car was. He wasn't sure where the location of the car, because on your way now, your fuel just finished. You just park there and carry gallon, rush to the nearest filling station to get fuel. He was like, okay, that's my car. I was like, fuel finish. He said, that is exactly the situation now, and this thing is really biting hard. I was discussing with AY earlier today before we came on air. He was like, if we are an oil producing nation, then we are buying fuel at this rate, then how do we even?
But funnily enough, Nigeria sells fuel at one of the cheapest prices worldwide. For countries that produce oil, right? Nigeria has one of the lowest prices worldwide.
But
it's crazy.
There are people that are selling less than 10 naira. Yes.
Oil producing countries.
Yes, they are selling less. Yes.
Please, let's us know what's
I will check the list and I will feed you with the record. We checked it up, I think 2 weeks ago on this show. There are countries that are selling very cheap. Venezuela, yes. They are selling it very cheap and affordable. Yes, there are other African countries who are selling at a higher rate than Nigeria. They have oil, but again, there are countries who are selling at a very affordable rate. But I want us to understand something here now.
Still compare though.
Yes.
You have to check the number of people, the population in that country. Can it be compared to what Nigeria has?
Now,
can it be compared to what Nigeria has?
Before we go to population and economy, I want us to understand
all those
something
things
here.
have an effect as
yes,
well.
but I want us to understand something here. Now, we are an oil-producing nation, but the only way that you can benefit being an oil-producing nation are in 2 ways. One, the proceeds you get from the sale of the crude oil as your revenue. That is one. And the second one that is going to have a huge effect on the masses, which we are now talking about, that is the cost of petrol and other byproducts of crude oil, is when you have a functional refinery in the country. That is when you enjoy. So now we are, in terms of the cost of pump price of petrol, we are as good as we don't have oil in Nigeria. That is the reality. Even if we don't have oil in Nigeria, that's the same price that we're going to buy.
We're going to be getting.
Yes. So the only benefit that if we have refinery, that is when we benefit. Okay, we now have oil. In terms of the price of petrol, we are going to get it because the government will just explore the oil, that is the crude oil, refine and now sell. But what we are doing now is we are buying. What
is very interesting is the fact that the former president Muhammadu Buhari, he wanted that name as the person who signed the PIA. He wanted that, and unfortunately they didn't do enough to ensure that every single aspect of it will be working before they leave office. How can you delay signing the PIA, something that has been in existence? A lot of people they've been teasing it, bringing it to the National Assembly. They send it back, look at one area, one issue was always coming up or the other, and finally the president signed it into law 1 year before he leaves office. You didn't do your due diligence to ensure that all the sectors that have to be working perfectly are going to be in place. take the refineries for example. They said it was going to be ready by 2022 December, right? Then Timi Silva came and was like, okay, no, you know what, it's going to be ready next year. That was what he first said. And then we now moved on to, it will be ready December next year. And now we're looking at it like, was this a situation of, okay, let me pass it on smartly, let me pass it on, it's looking like it's not going to work, let me pass it on to the next person to handle it. And pretty much with full subsidy as well. The president was saying at the time, the president Muhammadu Buhari was saying that they were going to remove fuel subsidy. This was when the PIA was signed into law, and then all of a sudden we had them say, okay, we're going to leave it for the next government. And it just seemed as though, okay, you were just pushing your responsibilities onto the next, so that whatever issues we're going to come up with, that person will handle it. So it just seemed like there was a lot of unpreparedness in the path of governance to ensure that Nigerians were properly catered for before fuel subsidy removal. And unfortunately, that's what we're suffering at the moment. That's pretty much what we're suffering, because we had Occupy Nigeria 2012. The president, Goodluck Jonathan, was going to remove it at the time. And he because of the Occupy Nigeria, because of all the protests at the time, he couldn't. And now we're seeing something else. When fuel could have been sold at 90 something, then we're seeing it at 617 naira.
Talking about the countries with the cheapest, but look at, you see the list. Venezuela, while overall a rather impoverished nation, it is rich in oil reserve and fossil fuel, and uses that particular wealth to provide their people with virtually free gasoline. Yeah, it is strange to think about, but isn't it true? But it is true. Technically, the price per gallon at the Venezuelan pump is around $0.6. That is meaning that it will cost pennies. Yes, it will cost pennies for you to fill up a rig. Sound like a fleet owner's dream, but that is the reality. Libya as well, Iran, Angola, they are selling at affordable
look at
prices.
the countries that you are calling now. Look at them. Look at the countries. Okay, if you say Egypt, okay. If you say Egypt, if you say Malaysia, then even Malaysia. But
no, Egypt is quite more expensive than Nigeria. So also Kuwait. They are oil producing countries, but what I am trying to say here is that unless and until we have a functional refinery in this country, we will continue to talk about pump price increase in this country, because it is the market forces that will dictate how much it goes. So it's as good as we don't have oil. We should forget calling ourselves oil producing nation when we are talking about petrol pump price. But when we are talking about revenue generation for the country, that is when we now beat our chest and say, yes, we are oil producing nation, because we sell the crude and make money.
But when it comes to our oil sector, there's a lot that has to do with it. Dollar affects it. It's absolutely crazy how we have a currency and we still spend in dollars. Whether dollar goes up or goes down, we are almost always at the losing end. So it just doesn't make a lot of sense at this point in time. There has to be something done with the forex to ensure that there's a cap. There has to be stability in that particular sector.
The biggest,
because it plays a huge role.
The biggest palliative that Nigeria needs now is for the president to make sure that he provides refinery in this country. That is the biggest palliative that we need. In fact, Jesse, let me tell you something. If we will continue to, for instance, this 8,000 naira that they are mulling to give 12 million Nigerians, if they decide to give every Nigerian, over 200 million Nigerians, 10,000 every month, it will still lead us to more problem. It will not be enough. So the only solution is for us to have a functional refinery that will take care of issue of fuel, because virtually everything is dependent on the price of fuel in Nigeria.
I'm just wondering, what exactly has ICPC, what exactly has the EFCC done when it comes to this issue of refineries? Because we saw them taking care of the refineries. For years, we're paying monies. It was in the budget to be taking care of rehabilitation of these refineries. They were paying staff at some point, especially in the Kaduna refinery. There were so many things. Monies were going into those refineries, even though they were not working. So what exactly has, the EFCC, the ICPC, all these agencies, what have they done to find the people that have been collecting our monies? Because it doesn't make any sense at this point in time to have put so much money in there and we were not doing anything with it.
Oh my goodness, we are yet to open the phone line, but the phone line has been buzzing. Like, people who already have our number have been calling ever since, like, when we started. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Mr. Prince, good morning. Thanks for calling.
Petrol, good morning.
Morning to you.
Yeah. I think, I don't know. We just cost Nigeria that we cannot have a single refinery in Nigeria.
My brother.
All the
joke.
refinery that we have, both Port Harcourt, Lagos, all these ones, no one is working. And now they say that they have this 40 or 50% in Dangote refinery. Till now, we have not seen anything. We are still flying on five something now 600 and something naira, and they want us to survive. I don't know. This is not why we voted for Jagaban. Sometimes I really feel happy that I did not vote. I don't know what it is.
It is well, Mr. Prince.
Well.
It's to get better. All right, thank you very much for your call this morning, Mr. Prince. And we will also call our phone line so that you
can
get
be part
to
of the conversation.
Yes, 070 001 0961 961 070 001 961 961. You can call normal call, or you can send SMS, or you use the WhatsApp portal. You can call us via the WhatsApp, or you send your WhatsApp message. We will read it. What is your thought? What is the situation over there? What do you want to say? Because it is not okay. It is not enough for you to bottle it all. You have to air it out. Your opinion matters, and that is why Voice of the People is here to give you that platform to be heard.
You know, Aliyu, this particular conversation of fuel subsidy is one that I was listening to someone, and he brought something to my attention. It was like, most of the neighboring countries around us, most of our neighboring countries do not import fuel. So they are illegally smuggled from Nigeria to some of those countries. Niger Republic, you have Cameroon, you have Benin, you have all these countries that are getting fuel from us. Imagine if we're selling at this price here in Nigeria. Imagine how much the smuggled fuel will sell in those countries. It will be outrageous.
It's not even business as usual
It
for
will be
them.
expensive.
Because I recently saw a video of one city, one town like that is in between, is it Nigeria and Cameroon, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the video is still on my phone. It's a kind of settlement where fuel that are smuggled from Nigeria are traded. It's just like a market for it. You see tanks there, you see kegs, you see a lot of things there. But basically now the town has been deserted because there is no fuel to smuggle from Nigeria to that place as it used to be. So no business for them.
As usual. It's not business as usual. Everybody they collect, but let the poor breathe.
But again, you see, I keep asking this question. Muhammadu Buhari made a lot of promises that he's going to get us one refinery every year. That was the promise before 2015 election.
No, if you ask these questions, Aliyu, they will say, did you hear it from his mouth? Gong, gong, gong. That's what they'll be asking.
No, but he right demanded. Just like now we have renewed hope as what he wants to do for Nigeria. That is what he wants to do now.
Have you forgotten?
I mean, they will tell us it is the political party that brought the manifesto. It's not the candidate.
Exactly. We heard this time and time again, especially with the presidential spokespersons. They will be coming out and be saying this, that it wasn't the president who said this, that it was the party. And then one begins to wonder, where's the dichotomy there? How do we differentiate between the president and the party, seeing as the president is the leader of the party at the national level? So you now begin to wonder, who are we deceiving? Who are we deceiving? Do we look like children that she will be telling us this? Let's go ahead and pay some bills. When we come back, we'll be joined with our guest analyst, Rufai Oseni, to help us understand. It's very interesting how we've only focused on this headline.
Honestly, no, we have to, because this is having the effect of this particular decision now, or this action. It's going to spread across every other facet of our life. So that is why we have to take our time to look at this and see what is the mystery behind us not having a refinery. If Dangote will have 650,000 capacity refinery as an individual, then Nigeria as a nation, the four that we already have is around 450,000 capacity, yet none is refining oil. We will come back after this break and continue this conversation. Stay with us and don't change your dial.
We have been serving you hot hot and fresh content on radio and you have been loving it, now we're taking it further. Catch us live on YouTube at BOP TV for all the juicy content you can't resist. Talk shows, exclusive interviews, news, lifestyle, and more. It's all about you. BOP TV, show up, speak up.
Are you traveling to Lagos and desire a perfect getaway?
Look no further than the luxurious accommodations at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, number 42 Murtala Mohammed International Road, Lagos.
Relax and unwind in our beautiful appointed rooms, featuring all the amenities you need for a comfortable stay.
Now, whether you are traveling for business or pleasure, our attentive staff is here to ensure that your every need is met. We also offer complimentary pick-up and drop from the Lagos airport.
Why not take advantage of our state-of-the-art fitness center, outdoor pool, and enjoy a delicious meal at our on-site restaurant?
With stunning views, world-class service, and a prime location, Airport Golden Tulip Hotel is the perfect choice for your next vacation or business trip.
So why wait? Book your stay today and experience the ultimate in comfort and luxury at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel.
For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-8003-333 or 0815-7003-333. You can visit our website at airportgoldentuliphotel.com.
Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, where luxury meets comfort.
Believe me, believe me, believe me.
The award-winning pizza in the US is now here in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Romeo, the pizza champions, and cold-berry ice cream.
Delight in every school.
Visit any of our outlets and feel the rich taste from the pizza champions and cold-berry ice cream.
At number 4, Obomosho Street,
Area 8, Geriki, Abuja, or 3rd Avenue, Gwarinpa, Abuja, or Federal Housing Estate, Phase 2, Lube, Abuja. Call 0908-831-5906 or 0908-831-5908 or 0909-238-9861. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter at romeospizza.ng.
website
www.romeospizza.ng. Romeo, the pizza champions. Are you aware that Iruka Online Limited installed and designed a 100,000 capacity church building? Oh yeah, we are the sole distributors of global leading brands all over the world, such as Wafday Line Array, speakers and digital amplifiers, Preseno's digital mixers and studio equipment, Coswell workstations and keyboards, Fender Glitters, Mapex drums, Ashdown bass combos, just to mention but a few. We offer flexible payment plan handled by our financial department with 24/7 customer care support system. You can visit our website on www.iruka.com to avoid buying fake products. You can also visit our showroom at number 36 Lagos International Airport Road beside Golden Tulip Hotel. Iruka, never settle for less.
It's easy to cover the news, but what we are doing is hard. Front Page Review. Front Page Review gives you the story beyond the headlines, the news from every angle.
Now let's start the review with this day. The lead story, bury zoning and bury Nigeria.
The story on top of the lead, terror threats. Sanwo-Olu summons emergency security meeting. Last but not the least is the story on the window. At 70, Buhari extols JC Danjuma's years of service.
Join the Front Page Review at 7 a.m. every weekday from VOP 96.1 FM.
welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. This is Front Page Review on Voice of the People 96.1 FM Abuja, and we have quite a number of headlines to talk. But top on the front burner is the issue of increase in the pump price of petrol, and we have joined us this morning our guest analyst in person of Rufai Oseni, who will share some more light on this particular development.
Good morning, Mr. Rufai. Welcome to the show.
Morning, bless you guys. Yes, believe bless Nigerians. It is going to be well with our country.
Amen.
Well, there's challenges and things will go wrong for our country, but we need to tell ourselves the truth. You see, the hypocrisy of politics. I think they respect their conscience. Funny enough, President Tinubu wrote an article in the Nation newspaper on the 11th of January 2012 condemning subsidy removal, calling it a scam, and calling President Goodluck Jonathan all sorts, and also saying that the subsidy was the Jonathan's tax. So can we also say the suffering that a lot of Nigerians are facing today is President Tinubu's tax? No. We ought to have removed subsidy many years ago. But because of politics and because it was convenient, they argued against it. Now it's coming home to roost. Everybody's complaining. The NLC is complaining. Everybody is feeling the pinch.
Yeah.
Every society stakeholder is feeling the pinch. So the question is, what are we going to do to get out of it? At first, he made a lot of mistakes by not planning before removing the subsidy. At least President Jonathan, that he was making mockery of them, at least planned. Gave us Shopee, gave us a couple of things before he pulled out subsidy. But President Tinubu, it was after he pulled out subsidy, he started planning along the way. But let me tell you, this is not the morning to criticize too much. It's the morning to bring solutions. So what are the solutions? For one, you have to have multiple measures. The first measure will be try as much as possible to incentivize the modular refinery. The local modular refineries are there. They need a lot of help. They don't get enough crude, and they don't get enough supply to be able to help them produce for the local markets. But we have about 4 modular refineries, and we have licenses for about 40. If we improve on these modular refineries, give them reformers to be able to provide petrol, then they can be able to at least add to the market. And the NNPC should tell us what's going on with the refineries it says it's fixing. Also, the Dangote refinery, when is it going to come on stream? That's another big question. Also, as regards transportation of crude oil, we can also use something called rail tankers to carry them. Rather than increasing costs by using tankers on the road, why don't we use rail tankers to be able to carry them? And also, plan for the logistics of our food by using the hitherto narrow gauge lines. The government can partner with the private sector to rehabilitate these narrow gauge lines and use them to be able to carry food so that the cost of transportation of food will be greatly reduced from most parts of the country. So take for instance, most of the foodstuff they carry from the north down to the south here, you can put a lot of them through these narrow gauge lines. I know it's going to take a couple of days, but at least it will reduce the cost rather than the cost you spend on transportation. And if get special carriages for that, or get the local, what's it called, the state government to invest in special carriages, and also get the private sector to invest in it and subsidize it so that we can transport food. Also, we must invest in the farmers. The problem has always been post-harvest losses. How do you cushion that? Build more storage and silos close to different farms or aggregation centers so that we can cut out middlemen. Also provide security of the farm. Boko Haram insurgents are back on the farms, disturbing farmers they can't produce, which is providing a devastating situation for us. Kudos to the government on giving subvention that gas seeds and fertilizers, but you need to provide security on the farm and also provide storage facilities to guard against post-harvest losses. Also, the hitherto borders that have been closed, please open up the borders, let food come in. And if you can flood the market with food, price of food can reduce. It was obvious that the President Buhari administration policy on border closure didn't work. So please open up those borders. Let food come in. Let food come in. Let us fix that. till we get to a point where we can produce enough for ourselves. Apart from that, I also call something the target 774. Set up incubation technology centers, arts and creativity centers, and me, I want to lead the charge on this. I want to, if I get any funding, I'll build one in my community so that we can be able to put younger talent and expose them to technology and give them technological skills, because that's the future. So you need arts, like a center of arts, background and creativity to be able to catch the next generation. Also, you need to reduce the multiple taxation that makes it difficult for people to be able to do business in the country. All right?
Yeah.
Also, set up technology training schemes for young people because they need technological skills to be able to do the jobs of the 21st century. And apart from that, then you constantly need a coherent data center where you manage data analysis of what the economy is saying every single day until we are able to get over this. Because at this point, you need to be able to get data every single time, be able to tackle challenges. You need real-time data. And you need to fund the MBS more to get more data sets. The idea that the MBS does inflation number data based on 2 weeks analysis, no, can we increase it to 3-4 weeks? Because we need a weekly analytical data on inflation to be able to track it and nip it in the bud. And I think that should sit close in the president so that the president has a chance to meet with them. Fourthly, I mean, I've lost count of the ideas, but also you must also now release it. You must also release a ministerial list now, because you need the finance minister to be able to work with and coordinate things and adapt the economy. So you need the finance minister. So it's time for him to release the ministerial list. And you hear a lot of people he put forward, they've gone through DSS screening. So please, it's the time for him to release the list, because so that the Minister of Finance can be able to coordinate the economy. And we can start to do a lot of work as regards trade and investment. Also, you must be able to incentivize businesses or car makers in the country to be able to provide CNG cards. The likes of Innocent, the likes of Nord, give them orders for CNG cars. Government officials should start. Government agencies should start by using also CNG cars. When they want to buy new cars, they should buy CNG cars. Let Innocent produce it. Also invest some money so that we'll be able to get CNG gas to be able to buy everywhere. Now you need to work on an energy mix. Also, the energy mix, you should be able to go back and use this country. We use it for transportation, we used it for electricity back in the days, but now we've abandoned our coal power plants. Other people are still using coal. Let us go back to coal, to power and energy in the economy.
Hello?
When you do all this, we start to start the economy. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
When you do all this, we start to jumpstart the economy. So this is the time for us to be able to think.
You know,
this system we are going through should be used as a platform to be able to improve the economy of Nigeria and make Nigeria a productive hub. If we are wise.
You know, Mr. Rufai, it's one thing for you to give so many solutions to these problems because they sound really, really good. But will the president, will his economic team, will the
think towards that direction?
Will they think towards this direction? Will they even think about, because imagine all the nice things we talked about when we're talking about palliatives, right? Talking about food stamps, talking about finding ways to reduce the cost of production of food and all that. And then what we saw was 8,000 naira conditional cash transfers. That was the response to all the great ideas we had given the president at the time. So at this point in time, a lot of Nigerians do not even know what to anticipate, what to even expect at this point, because a lot of people have great ideas. Will they listen?
See, I'm a fan of U2, an Irish rock band. I'm a rock band. I do a lot of rock. And U2 said in one of his songs, "Stuck in a moment," and I'll sing that song a bit. U2 says, "You've got to Get yourself together. You get stuck in a moment and you can't get out of it. So the president is stuck in a moment. He's got to get himself together. He doesn't have to say later will be better, but he's stuck in the moment. And he has to get himself together and get out of this by listening to the people's ideas. He has to carry his own weights. There was also another YouTube song that says, get out of your own way. Get out of your own way. Get out of your own way. Get out of things that hold you back. By not listening to people, listen to what the people are saying and take their ideas and do it. It's as simple as that. So it falls on him. It is his legacy. He's already writing his legacy. People will never forget the hardship that occasioned the early administration of Bola Tinubu. But the thing about him is to not forget that he still has a right and a chance to rewrite this if he listens to what people say.
All right.
He's already writing his book.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hello.
He's already writing his legacy. But he can rewrite legacy quickly if he transforms and does the things we're saying about this economy. That's my case.
All right, thank you very much for that lengthy explanation. It's really good because it provides a lot of solutions to the mirage of Nigeria's problem. Still with this issue of policy in Nigeria, I believe that public policy are a set of actions selected from alternatives. But in Nigeria, we have seen a lot of failed policies, and there is this factor that we used to call Nigerian factor. Some policies have been tested and it worked well in other countries, but if you bring them to Nigeria, it doesn't work well. So I feel, how can we start to domesticate our policies? The fact that we know that this policy worked elsewhere, if we bring it to Nigeria, we should look at our own peculiarities before we now adopt that policy, because I think it's going to go a long way in helping us having to reduce the number of failed policies in Nigeria. What do you think about this?
You know why the policies don't work in Nigeria?
No.
Because our leaders don't want them to work. Pure and simple. Policies that are tested and work in Nigeria don't put in politics. The reason why policies don't work is the politicization of politics. When you start to allow personal interest around public interest in terms of policy formulation, then you have lost the plot of the policy. So it's because we don't want them to work. Policies work everywhere. Why is Nigerian case different? You talked about Nigerian factor. Why is it our own different? It's because people put in politics and corruption. The rail lines President Muhammadu Buhari built, why is that the cost of building rail in Nigeria is one of the most expensive compared to other economies? By now, after the Chinese built the first rail, have they transferred enough technology? Why can't you have Nigerian companies building rail lines from start to finish? Why? Owing to the fact, and let me also tell you that in terms of even rail technology, I'm shocked that it's the Chinese that are coming to build rail for us, because Nigerian rail engineers used to be the best in the world, trained by the British many years ago. But what did we do to those people? We didn't pay them their pension. They became a butt of the jokes of comedians. Remember how comedians used to joke about railway pensioners?
Yeah.
And we did not do skill transfer from what all of those people know. I mean, when I read the vibrant history of Nigerian railway, it's in the Jackal House here in Lagos. So it's not, the problem is not that Nigeria lacks intellectual manpower. It's because politics. Yesterday, I got a chance to speak to one of the early people that were running the NPC in 1970s. In the early, when it was NNOC, before the NNPC was birthed in 77. and he was telling me the history, how they started in a half apartment room in Broad Street in Lagos before they moved to Palomo when they started NNPC in 77. And the joy and the prospect. He told me something. He said when they were commissioning, I think it was at Jalkuta in the 80s during Shagare's time.
Yeah.
And he wrote a recommendation for them to extend the gas line through Warri. Warri was 83. I'm talking about DSC. Was 83 to Ajakuta. And then they should extend the gas line from Ajakuta to Abuja so that they can build a power plant to serve Abuja. He said he made that recommendation known in the early 80s. He said, nobody took that recommendation. He said, now somebody said they're just thinking of doing it. Until then, they've not done it. So Abuja will have had his own independent standalone power plant. So it's not that Nigerians don't have fine ideas, but politics gets in the way. So when policies and politics mix, policy will always take the back seat and politics will dominate. Policies and politics should never mix. They should be illicit liquids.
All right, Mr. Rufai.
When policies and politics mix, you have just given birth to catastrophe. That's what's happening in Nigeria. The moment you put politics into policies, you give birth to catastrophe.
True.
Let's move on to the next one, sir.
All right. The House of Reps is set to probe the appointments that were made under the former President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. And the House has asked the Federal Character Commission to submit a report of appointments in ministries, departments, and agencies between 2015 and 2023. What exactly do you think about this? We are always seeing the House of Reps set to go ahead to probe one thing or the other, and we never ever see a conclusive report after it. But we're hoping that this is going to be different. But then again, what do you think about this?
Friends, the House of Reps should tell us what really happened at the end of this situation. All we heard last was off your mic. They should tell us what really happened. Those are more important matters. It's also important they probe the Federal Character Commission. We use the Federal Character Commission as regards people that were appointed, but they should also happen with off your mind. And they should also tell us why they are collecting 70 billion to put in their own for their own use at the expense of the suffering Nigerians.
The Senate president said they literally came with their what do you call it? They came with their chairs and tables to their offices.
Is that not good? The money they use to buy is not Nigeria's money. It's not Nigeria's money. All of them should come out and read if they have never benefited from rent in Nigeria.
All right.
On to another one, Jerry.
Yeah. This is on the Punch newspaper that says ICANN, NFIU, others partner in corruption fight. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria and also the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Units and also Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria and other stakeholders to eliminate corruption in the country. The president of ICANN, Dr. Innocent Okwosa, said the retreat was organized to review the institute processes in view of its upward trajectory mandate to deepen its advocacy and thought leadership mandates in national development, amongst other initiatives. He appealed to SCUMUL, to be precise, to review some of its operational processes that makes direct registration difficult, forcing stakeholders to register through consultant. He also promised that the institute will leverage the template received from SCUMUL to implement market entry control checks on licensed firms. First of all, how do we get the better of ICANN? Because in Nigeria, we know the issue of corruption in terms of financial corruption is on the increase. Every now and then we talk about it, and we have ICANN, we have ANAN and other accounting bodies that tend to be professional in what they do. What do you think we can do to improve on the integrity of the financial sector?
Well, we can improve on this fight against corruption, also deploying a lot of technology and AI. So I'm on the advisory of a company that does something very exciting. That use AI to be able to flag transactions and give report card of how transactions happen and any deficiency in those transactions are flagged. And some companies are already adopted.
Okay.
So there's so much to be done. So as regards the problem, I'll not favor hackathons as regards creating to that problem. Then there should be a lot of level of, and also it should be done in consonance with various other authorities. Yes, Scrabble will do their bit and all that, but other authorities also should be brought into place. You know, and the banks too should, because most of all of this happens through the banking system.
Okay, the president has asked for an immediate review of the 8,000 naira conditional cash transfers. In light of every single thing that's happening now in the oil sector, what exactly do you think about this? Because reviewing, we're not sure what review means at this point. Are you asking them to review it upwards, or you're saying change, this palliative style? We're not sure what exactly the review would mean, but what exactly do you think about this?
Yes, I don't deal with black, I deal with facts. If the president says he wants to review, what is it? So maybe tells us more facts regards what the review means, what the reviewing through, then we can analyze the facts of the matter. But I don't deal with blanket statements. That was just a blanket statement. We are reviewing. What are you reviewing? How are you reviewing? For whom are you reviewing? Is this for the 12 million Nigerians or for all Nigerians? Because I know there are many people, millions, 1 million Nigerians that are poor. I want to give that. So what are you reviewing? What is a review? Review is very next. It's very statements. It's very kind of word. It's very colloquial. I mean, when you have a colloquial solution, you know, so it's very colloquial in nature. You know,
all right.
There are very small particles suspended, so it's very colloquial in nature. Just a mix. I don't understand it. It's nebulous, like a colloid. So when it gives us of the matter, we'll analyze the facts of the matter.
All right, time is
Thank you.
Time is not on our
Thank
side.
you
I will
so
have to
much.
let you go.
Thank you so much.
Even though there are more to talk about.
Sir, if you have to send us Phil to Abuja, you have to find a way to send us Phil to Abuja.
Phil to Abuja, right? Don't worry. I'll come and play with you guys soon. Huh?
Thank you so much. All right, have a wonderful day.
Love you all.
Right,
Love Abuja. Right, bye.
All right. At this point, I don't even know what to say.
Really, there are lots of things to look into on today's headline, because we are able to look at the biggest one that has more bearing on virtually everything we do in this country.
Like it's the one with the immediate effect.
Yes. And really, a lot of solutions being profiled there by our guest analyst Rufai Oseni, that if at all the government could adhere to that, it's going to go a long way in helping us getting out of this quagmire that we found ourselves.
Yes. So at this point in time, we have to draw the curtain on the show this evening and this morning. Pardon me. How did I reach evening? Anyway.
Maybe you want to go to evening shifts, that's why.
Let the day just end, please. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to this show. Don't forget, you can always catch the episode if you missed out on it. You can always catch an episode of it on YouTube. We are on YouTube at VOP961, VOP961 on YouTube and every other social media platform. You can find us on VOP961. You can always call our phone number as well, WhatsApp message, text message, whatever the case may be, 0700 010 961 961. Gesiere Agua is my name.
Aliu Doma is my name. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our social media platforms. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and have yourselves a wonderful morning. Iwamaka is up next. Keep it locked.